will never kill anybody. But bullets will kill. Give Jesus a clap of praise. God began to speak to me about Biafra. And I'm worried. I stopped somewhere last month, and I'm going to throw a little light on another one. And I pray that the authority concerned should listen to me. And it's a statement. Dialogue now. So that you should not be knocking the door for dialogue and there's no dialogue. That's what God told me. I keep saying it. I said there is a spirit in this young man. It is bigger than what physical eye can see. I'm not an Igbo man. I'm a Yoruba man. But I'm speaking as a prophet. I said what I see in this young man is bigger than him. You see the man, the small boy that they call him, what is inside him is bigger. It's not just an ideology. It's bigger. I said, I see an animal. Which animal did I told you last time? Huh? I said what? A what? A what? A small puppy. And I see a small puppy going forward. All of a sudden, I saw so many strange wild animals, lion, bear, great animals around the puppy. Then I saw the puppy look back and saw that the animals around him are so many. Suddenly the puppy, what I saw last month is different from what I'm seeing now. The puppy is developing some futures of wild animals. This prophetic word is not to the negative. It's very important. Take the Biafra agitation serious. Dialogue now. Because I see a time, doors are knocked, calls are made. People who are heady are saying we have come down, but these people are not willing to dialogue again. Please, redeeming the time, for the days are evil. Dialogue now. Dialogue now. I repeat it again. I'm not an Igbo man, but I'm telling you what I'm shown in the spirit. What? I'm seeing great people, important people in this nation coming together and saying, now, okay, we want to sit on the table, let us talk. But the people you want to talk with are saying, it's too late. Please, dialogue now. The days ahead are evil. Dialogue now. This is not a cry of a baby. It's a cry of an adult. I repeat it again. Dialogue now. The Bible said, blessed are the peacemaker, for they shall be called the children of God. Please, every authority, there come a time when a revolution is about to take place. The power of gun, bombs, and bullets cannot hold an ideology. Please, dialogue now. This is not the time of, I have bullet, I have gun, I have bomb. This has nothing to do with bullet and bomb. If you know what I'm seeing in the realm of the spirit, everyone in federal authority should take the Biafra agitation serious. If you are once a founding father of this nation, sit down around the table and listen to your children. Dialogue now. This is not the time to arrest anybody. It's the time to hear the cry of the people. Dialogue now. Because it's going to be the last resultant solution at the end. But when you are asking, when the king comes down from his throne and he's saying, I'm ready to talk, and everybody is throwing stone at you, then you will know that it is important to dialogue with honor and prestige and go out and there is peace in the land.
Types of soup and pommes.
Another Savior, holy, 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 another Savior, holy, 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 another Savior. Special dedication to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPOB families all over the world.
This is my poverty is not the absence of natural resources. It is I'll begin by saying that when grieved, tribalism.
Let the great Biafra army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, holy,
ethnocracy.
holy, they were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. Inyamadika yabika kwa namno wao. Hey, anamekele mazuche mefo. Mwanemo, it's an honor having you on board. When I'm singing along, holy, 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 Nnamdi Kanu is another Savior.
The guys of Nnamdi, you eliminate them. Now, if you put it in a nutshell, go to Samuramu is Machel. It was his close family. The West and Arabic will never and ever have access to Africa until they use Africans. That's why I say what is eating the bean seed is within the bean seed. Africans are full with greed, full with ethnocracy, tribalism, and nepotism. And if nothing is done, we will keep on killing our best every year. As I talk to you recently, I would guarantee you all shorty that this guy Magufuli has convinced us against once more that Africa does not need any support out of the country. Lazarus Chakwera, in his 8-minute speech commemorating the death of Magufuli, he said, the unpredictable Magufuli. They did not know that leadership could run in Africa without money being borrowed from International Monetary Fund, because they did not know Magufuli was coming. They did not know that projects could be set up and executed on time, because they did not know Magufuli was coming. They did not know that somebody could not pay attention to International Assembly, General Assembly of the United Nations, the Magufuli was coming. African presidents have given us the impression that you must borrow to succeed. Before Magufuli came to power, most of the mines in Tanzania were privatized. But what he did was that he came back and then sanctioned the foreign companies that were mining in Tanzania until 16% of those particular mines were given back as ownership back to Tanzania. A scenario occurred in Zambia. Zambia is the best producer of copper. You have the copper belt in Zambia. Zambia sold that copper belt to an American firm up front without payment. That they will exploit the copper and pay them later. American firm came, took that particular copper belt, turned it within 2 years and paid the money up front. And is giving Zambia a 0.00 something % as royalty for their mine. Was that colonialism? It is talking about stupidity and poor management. Who brought gun to give that copper belt to America? Nobody brought gun. When last did you see Europeans using prestation, assimilation, or indirect rule in Africa? It's no longer there. Let us consider the fact that they are taking a greater chunk of our resources. The balance we have here is very possible for us to manage those things. How can a man come in 5 years' time without borrowing a dime from International Monetary Fund, a dime from World Bank? He was able to restore 6 aircrafts into the Tanzania airline. He was able to build bridges, build railway, restore back the Julius Nyerere hydroelectricity project that could give Tanzania 99% guarantee of electricity throughout the year without borrowing a dime. China proposed to borrow him 10 billion to reconstruct and expand the port in Dar es Salaam. He refused, yet the port was under extension. Where did he get the money? That's what we are talking about. A man that came and gave free education to all government schools in Tanzania. Mr. Leo, 20,000 ghost workers were discovered. That's where our money is going to. That's not colonialism. He also arrested 14,000 unqualified workers in the government. Those 34,000 persons who were earning salary they did not merit is what was melting down the economy. It was not the colonial master. I think if we go down to most African countries, there are people who are earning salaries that do not exist in the government. Where is colonialism in all these things I have outlined? A man who said that education is free for girls, but the moment you become pregnant, your family will start paying fees. A nice way of fighting moral decadence. Who are we going to blame? Where did he get the money? He came and saw the hospital. President now goes down to the hospital. Beds were scattered, rotting. Patients were sleeping on the floor. He fired the entire medical staff and gave them 1 month to repair all the beds in Tanzania. And suddenly from nowhere, the beds were repaired in the space of 2 months.
Okay.
How can it be that Africa is the richest continent on the earth and our gold is mined by De Beers? How can it be that Africa is the richest continent on the world and our diamond is produced in South Africa, in Botswana, and Namibia, and in Sierra Leone, and in Liberia, but the price is determined in Antwerp, in Belgium? How can it be? How can it be that Africa produces cocoa in Togo, in Cote d'Ivoire, and in Ghana, and chocolate is then made in Switzerland and in Belgium, who have not even a bush of cocoa? How can it be that tea is produced in Ethiopia and in Uganda and in Kenya, and when he is taken to the United Kingdom, they now call it English tea. How can it be? How can it be? How can it be? How can it be that coltan is mined in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but not a single African country makes a mobile phone? How can it be? How can it be? It can only be because we have allowed our minds to be captured. It can only be because we have allowed ourselves to be spiritually confused. Can only be because we have allowed ourselves to be slaves of others. And the God that we worship, knowing that we are confused, has turned his head on the other side so that when we pray and fast, he does not listen. Or if he listens, he does not care. He's waiting for us to realize ourselves so that we can worship in truth. And you know, this is intergenerational. The pains that are being visited upon this generation are out of the sins that were committed by the other generation. It is a time to repent so that we who have transgressed may say that we have repented, because the future now does not lie in us. The future lies in the young ones. Chinua Achebe was right. These are the young suckers that will grow when the old banana dies. These are the very same upon whose shoulder Africa shall rise. Your duty and my duty is to plant the tree in the knowledge that one generation plants a tree, another generation waters the tree, another generation prunes the tree, another generation enjoys its shade. That is our duty. So this morning, we are not here to say new things. We are only here to remind ourselves that in the beginning there was God, and that God created man, and that man, I suspect, was an African, and that man could not have been anything else but an African. Why I suspect so? Because all creation says that man came from the earth. And as I said, the earth is either black or brown. So in the beginning there was an African. And in the beginning there was a spirit into which that mold was made alive. And that spirit was God. And I suspect that God gave us intelligence. And I suspect that God created Africa where it is in the very middle, because the very middle, the very center is the fulcrum, and that is why I suspect Africa is where it is, enjoying not too much cold, enjoying not too much sun. It is in the middle. It is indeed life measures as it should be measured. And that is why I suspect in his divine wisdom, he put all the minerals in Africa. If it is not gold, it is coltan. If it is not coltan, it is iron ore. If it is not iron ore, it is copper. And he does not stop there. When he was distributing rivers and lakes, he ensured that Africa had the best of lakes, the best of rivers, and he did not stop there. He ensured that we are surrounded with the best of oceans. If it is not the Atlantic, it is the Indian, which should be called the African. I do not know why they call it the Indian Ocean, but that is their conspiracy. Then there is the Mediterranean. They also call it another name, and he did not stop there. Once he had done that, he ensured that this is a continent that has men and women who are so forgiving, so generous. This is the only continent that has welcomed all civilizations. We started with the Arabs. They abused us. Then came the Portuguese. We welcomed them. They abused us. Then the Dutch came. We welcomed them. They abused us. Then the Italians came, we welcomed them, they abused us. Then the Germans came, we welcomed them, they abused us. Then the French came, we welcomed them, they abused us. Then the English came, we welcomed them and they abused us. Then the Indians came, we welcomed them and they abused us. Then the Lebanese came, we welcomed them, they abused us. Now the Chinese are coming, we are welcoming them and they are abusing us. We must stop this. And we can only stop this through self-realization. And that is why when I conclude, I must conclude by making reference to a great African, Ante Cheikh Diop of Senegal, who writing in his book, The African Origin of Humankind, Myth or Reality, says, this is a problem that can only be solved through aggression. And I'm telling us, this is the time now for Africa to rise. Africa will be great. Africa must be great. And it will only be great if we choose to spiritually decolonize our minds, our hearts, and culture. Because it is only then.
French Cameroon's colonial master. This greed would spiral out for over 6 decades until 5 years ago, with the people of Ambazonia decided to fight back method for method. With so much historical justification for both the people of Biafra and their counterparts in Ambazonia, forming collaborative alliances to strengthen their resolve and has been under consideration for a long time. Today, both leaders, and with the support of their respective citizens, are now set to speak for the first time about their groundbreaking relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ambazonian Communication Network will now like to welcome the host of this primetime event. Our hosts will then have the privilege to usher in their leaders, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, and Dr. Cho Ayaba, the leader of the Ambazonia Liberation War.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to this historic day. I am Simon Ekpa, an activist of the indigenous people of Biafra. Today, we are bringing to you a historic press briefing of 2 leaders. We are bringing to you this historic press briefing, and today history will be made. On this note, may I bring in these 2 leaders who have defiled everything the corrupt, terrorist African leaders has brought upon the people. May I use this opportunity to bring to the studio the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra.
Invest in Amazon today, and you could earn up to $1,800
the undefeatable leader,
within 24 hours,
a man with 9 lives,
and you can start earning a second
the man
income.
who have
Start
defied
investing now.
all nature, defiled all terrorist activities of the Nigeria government, the man, the Nigeria government, the man who have made it possible for us today to be very resilient and very brave to request and agitate for the freedom of the people of Biafra. A man who defeated death.
Everything in life is a negotiation. When
the day the Nigerian government invented his house, world's most powerful movement for the freedom of Biafra people. He is the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. IPOB has become one of the world's most powerful movements for the freedom of indigenous people. The IPOB
are scattered almost all over 120 countries of the world. Welcome, Mazi, Nnamdi, Kanu, almost over 100 DK of Biafra to the studio. Today,
Simon,
he is leading.
and thank you all the wonderful people of Biafra listening and watching right across this very planet Earth.
The world's most powerful
We have in store for our respective peoples in terms of what we are doing to restore God's kingdom upon the face of the earth. That very part of this world that have hitherto been neglected. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Welcome to the studio. Welcome to the studio, the undefeatable leader of the Ambazonia liberation of
my
war,
dear brother,
Dr. Cho Ayaba.
With me today,
Dr. Cho Ayaba have as well defeated all the terrorist government
people
in Cameroon.
And I can assure
today,
each and
he has
one of
given
them that by the end of this
opportunity
process,
for Ambazonians to be very resolute
of our nations. I thank all of you once again, and I do hope that this evening will provide a very compelling insight into what we have in store for our respective peoples in terms of what we are doing to restore God's kingdom upon the face of the earth. That very part of this world that have hitherto been neglected. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Welcome to the studio. Welcome to the studio, the undefeatable leader of the Ambazonia liberation of war, Dr. Cho Ayaba. Dr. Cho Ayaba have as well defeated all the terrorist government in Cameroon. Today, he has given the opportunity for Ambazonians to be very resolute in their quest for freedom of their Ambazonians. Let me use this opportunity once more.
Thanks for having me. First, let me thank my brother, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, for taking this bold step so we can stand shoulder by shoulder and together to face the ultimate systems that have put our people under subjugation. Thanks for showing their understanding to this alliance, and we will be speaking to their fears and aspirations and hope. To the great people of Biafra who have suffered tribulations and torment, I think as your leader has said, you are the appointed generation, and you will see Biafra. Thank you.
Dr. Cho Ayaba.